Hi, my name is Chadwick Augustine. I'm an instructor here at the Ceramics Center at 92nd Street Wise School of the Arts. And I'm here today to show you how to make a super simple beer mug that anyone can make. So to begin, our first step is to make the bottom of the mug. And for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ball of clay, about the size of an apple, let's say, and pound that out into a slab. We want this bottom piece to be about 1/8 of an inch. What I'm going to do next is grab a banding wheel. A lot of times people call this a turntable. I'm going to put my slab on a work surface. So what I have here is a wooden work surface on top of that. And I'm going to cut out, as this is spinning, about a 4-inch circle. After scribing the mark with my needle tool, I can go ahead and take my knife and cut that circle out. And there we have the bottom of our mug. Our next step is to actually make the walls of the mug. So we're going to build up from that bottom. I like to take a ball of clay about the size of a big navel orange and slap it in my hand to make a sort of baguette shape, twisting it sort of from one end to the other. And the key here is really consistency. We want a piece of clay that's consistent thickness all the way through. From here I can take it onto my work surface and roll that out. And what I'm looking for is about a 12-inch piece of clay from this ball, about like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to flatten this coil of clay into sort of a strip of clay. To do that, I like to use the palm of my hand. It's really the sort of strongest part of my hand to use. And so starting from one end to the other, going across it and flipping it over from time to time, the key really, again, is consistency. I want a nice, even-walled piece of clay. And I'm looking to make this a little bit thick because I'm going to be working and pinching this upward, so I want a little bit of clay to play with. The next thing we want to do really is to square off some of the edges. So I'm going to cut off either end and then flip it over. Then I'm going to grab my straight edge and I'm going to create one bottom edge that's straight. This will be the edge that meets the bottom of our mug. Now I'm going to bring out my banding wheel again, and I'm going to take our bottom of our mug and place that right on there. And now I'm going to bring these two together. And to do that, what I need to do is make sure that any surfaces that are being joined are going to be scored or roughed up. So taking my needle tool, and I'm going to do the same for the bottom edge of our strip of clay. So once that's scored, now comes the fitting. I'm going to take this and carefully place it on top of our circle and fit it to the outside edge of our bottom and trim accordingly. Now I need to score those two edges that will be joined. So I'll rough them up really well again with my needle tool. And I like to take a little bit of water, so I'll take a brush just with some simple water in there and just run it along, just to get those two surfaces nice and wet. And from here on, it's time to join those two together. So to do that, what I like to do is I take my hands and sort of cup them together, bringing the clay with it. While I'm getting that seam together, I can also work on the joining of the bottom to the top, or the walls of my slab. And to do that, what I do is I just take the clay and actually press it down on top of that. So I take my hand and just give a little force downward on that. So now that I have this these two parts pretty well secured, it's now time to sort of raise this up and let it become a mug. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch this upward. I'm going to take the clay in between my fingers and sort of roll it so that it moves upward and thins out a little bit. So again, using the banding wheel is really great here. I can slowly rotate it and keep my hand in the same position. And for any of you who are interested in throwing on the wheel, this is actually a great primer for that. It's a bit like slow motion throwing. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach the handle onto our cup. Now that things have sort of stiffened up a bit, as clay tends to do, I'm going to sort of make a decision about where this goes. Just sort of futz and sketch it out a little bit. And that looks pretty good to me. And once I have it positioned on there, I'm going to take my needle tool and mark where that lies on the wall of the mug so that I can properly score that. Just like that. And I'm going to want to score also the handle where that surface meets the wall of the mug. A little bit of water. And a little bit of wiggle as I press those together. So now that handle is attached on there, and it's ready to dry and then fire. So now that you're finished, you can glaze it, fire it, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Cheers.